Okay, Bob, time for you to show off some academic excellence here, okay? Look around you at these machines. They're all used for finding the mass of matter. Now, what do they all have in common, Bob? Gotten them out of cereal boxes? Wrong answer, Bob. Try again. They all have batteries. No, Bob, sorry. Let's try this. I'll give you a hint. They're all first-class levers. See? The fulcrum is in the middle of a first-class lever, and there's effort forces on one side, resistance forces on the other. Sometimes those two things are called arms. And if you look here, look, two arms. Fulcrum right in the middle. Here's our triple beam balances. The knife edge is right in there, right below there. And here, fulcrum's right there. It's very easy to see. Right there's the knife edge. You can see that one right over. Here's one, and here's one. How about that, Bob? First class levers. They're all over the place. All right, let's go look at some other kinds of levers. The first member of the lever family that we're going to talk about is, ta-da, the lever. And it's a rigid bar that is free to rotate or pivot on a fixed point. The fixed point is called the fulcrum, and we normally draw a little triangle like that. And then it has what we call two arms. There is the effort arm, and that's the distance from the fulcrum to wherever you put your effort force in. Doesn't matter where the fulcrum is, either end, doesn't matter. It's that distance from where you put your effort in to the tip of that fulcrum. And the other arm is called the resistance arm, okay? And that's from the fulcrum over to where the resistance is applied, okay? That's pretty much it. Now, let's go back and take a look at something else about levers, and that is there are three classes of levers. Why don't you just beat the thing to death? There we go. Now, right now, this is set up as a first-class lever. Fulcrum. Now, when we say in the middle, we don't mean geographically exactly in the middle. We mean between the effort and the resistance forces, somewhere in there. Doesn't matter where. It can be clear over there. It can be clear over here, depending on what kind of machine you're going to use. Okay? There's a lot of examples of that right here. Now, a second-class lever is slightly different. Second-class lever has the resistance force in the middle, and we'll show you one of those here in a little bit too. Okay? That's in the middle there. I'll set that up to look like that here in a second. Well, let's do it right now. Here we go. All right, here we go. So slide that one off the end. That's a good way to break a light there, Mr. Knepp. This comes to this end. Okay. Move that down there so we can still stay somewhat in focus. And we're going to put this somewhere in there. Fulcrum, resistance, effort. Thank you, Bob. Okay, that's a second-class lever. Always look for the pivot. The resistance is somewhere between the pivot and where you put your effort in. All right, stay. Now, the other one is the third-class lever. Okay, it has the fulcrum at one end, just like that one is, but the resistance force and the effort force have switched. This main purpose of this kind of lever is to give us an increase in distance. Here, I'll show you. I have to switch weights because I don't think I can lift this one. Fulcrum. Tighten that in just a second. Move this guy out here. And now look at this. See, if I hold the fulcrum down here so it doesn't move, I'm putting my effort in here. Look at the distance I go, and look at the distance that the resistance force goes. Okay, see that? That's what I mean by increase in distance. Look how far it goes, look how far I go. Increase in distance. We have a lot of machines that do that too. Okay? So there are your three classes of levers. Okay? Let's go take a look at some of these. That's right, Bob. It's a second-class lever. Why? Because the load's in the middle. It's a joke, Bob. Hey, Bob, here's your chance. Look at this thing. Is it art or is it a machine? Quit playing with it, Bob. Oh, good answer. It's both. It is art, it's a mobile, and if you look carefully, the fulcrums are in the middle of all of these. So they're all first-class levers. All mobiles are first-class levers. Good answer, Bob. Okay, we're going to go inside because there's thunderstorms coming. Let's go look at some levers inside before we get rained on. Bob here is going to help us go through these machines. Most machines we have around the garage here, and there are literally dozens and dozens of places you can see leverage. But things like this gooseneck pliers. It's easy to see the fulcrum in the middle there and to pick out that this is a first-class lever. Well, let's show you some different ones and see if you can pick them out. What about this? Now, we looked at this hydraulically, but we didn't look at it as a simple machine. I push on this. Do you see where it pivots? Right, it pivots right there. And here's where the force is. So this is going to be a first-class lever. Okay. Let's look at this one. Aha! The old catapult. All right. Pull it down. Let's see. Fulcrum's right there. There is your effort. The rubber band's putting the effort. Now I'm holding it out here, but really the effort's right there. And then the weight's going to be right there. Well, let's just see here. Woohoo! Second class. Okay. Quit screwing around. Second class. You're absolutely right. Let's look at this one. We have another catapult. I see a theme here. All right. Now, let's see here. Rubber bands are pulling here. Fulcrum there. Oh, okay. So I'm holding it down. That's true. This is actually the resistance end right here. And why not? Let's put some resistance in there. And then here is where the effort is being applied. There's the fulcrum. So this is going to be a... It bounced off the wall. This is going to be a first class. I'm trying to be academically serious here. That'll be a first. All right. Oh, look at this one. Aha. Let's see. Pivots. Ooh, where does it pivot? Pivots back here, doesn't it? Okay, and we're putting the effort in here. So let's see, which one has the effort in the middle? Effort in the middle. It's a third class. Huh, boy, I was worried for a minute there. That's a third class. I'm like, did I draw that wrong? I was looking at it upside down. Okay, don't judge. Okay, we got that. Look at that. Yeah, third class level. All right. Oh my gosh, we're off to therapy together, aren't we, buddy? All right, oh, let's see here. Oh, we're gonna look at it from this direction. Let's see. Pivots there. Force in the middle. We got that one. That's a third class. No problem on that one. We can't fool us twice there, Bob. And we got one more way the heck over there. Ah, double. And let's do the green one first. All right, so the green one's first. Okay, what are we doing here? There we go. Somebody's been playing with these again. Leave the door open and things happen. So that's going to be a third. Pivot, fulcrum. Fulcrum's right here. Pivot. Here's where the effort's put in and out here. But what about the other end, though? What about this end? Let's see. Effort, pivot, fulcrum, and we're... Oh, so that's just a first class. Okay. All right. So much for our little Pasco's fun things there. What about regular tools? Let's say you got to get a nut loose or bolt loose. Now, you might start off with using it. Now, these aren't all the same size, but you might start off with a wrench. It's about that long, but you don't get a lot of leverage. Not a lot of leverage. So you need something with a little more leverage so you get yourself a socket set like this. And you turn, you grunt, you heave, you carry on, you lose religion. All right, that kind of thing. Well, it doesn't work. So you get yourself what mechanics call a breaker bar. See? See the difference in length? More leverage. What kind of a lever is this? Well, let's see. Pivot's right there. Ah, the resistance is in the middle. So this is a second class. But let's say that doesn't work either. So you get a bigger one. You can tell the kind of problems we've had here in the garage. Put that puppy on you. And then, if that doesn't work, dynamite. No, Bob. No. They told us not to do that. We live in Duncannon. No, the mechanics rule for if this doesn't work, get a bigger wrench. Then it'll work. I think they've done a great job on levers, Bob. Let's go off to the next simple machine. Bob's back from his timeout just in time for the second member of the lever family, the wheel and axle. It's a simple machine made of two circular or cylindrical objects fastened together that rotate about a common axis. So you have a wheel and an axle, and these things are everywhere. They're just everywhere. Great, Bob. You keep that up, you're going to get back in timeout again. Let him alone for a minute. He grabs the markers. All right. Okay. There's two ways you can use the wheel and axle. If you want to increase your force, you apply your effort force to the wheel, and you get out your resistance force on the axle. Right? Things like screwdrivers, doorknobs, things like that. If you want to figure out mechanical advantage, this is pretty neat. You just got to know the radius of the wheel and the radius of the axle. Center of the axle out to the edge of the wheel is your effort distance. That's going to be dE. And from the center of the axle to the edge of the axle, that's the radius of the resistance distance. You can figure out your mechanical advantage. Basically, bigger the wheel, greater the mechanical advantage. That's for increasing force. You can also use them to increase distance. And we're going to show you examples of both of these here in a second. Here, you just turn around. We're going to put our effort force into the axle and make the wheel. Now you can see the advantage of this because you move a little, it moves a lot. Okay, now you're going to have to use a lot more force, that's true, but you get a lot of distance. Okay, let's take a look at some of these. I'll set a few up for you. Thank you, Bob. Stay away from the markers, Bob. That's right, Bob. Sometimes wheels and axles have teeth on them, just like the gears on your bicycle. Thanks for letting us use it. Yeah, maybe we can go for a ride later when the lesson's done. Bob and I are going to take a little time here to show you the difference between using a wheel and axle one way and another way. We're going to use a little device here called an Atwood's machine. It consists of 4 concentrically smaller or larger, depending on your point of view or which window you look at the world from, 4 different size wheels or axles, depending on where you put your effort and where you put the resistance. The first one we have hooked up here, we have our effort on the wheel. That's inevitable. On the outside wheel, and we have the resistance on the inside. Now this is 100 and this is 200. And look at that, the 100 easily pulls the 200 out without a problem. Isn't that amazing? It has to do with the radius, the relationship, the ratio between the radius of the wheel and the radius of the axle. Let's see what kind of mechanical advantage we got here. We're going to take the 200 off and we're going to put a 500 on. Carefully. Okay, now watch. Still got 100, 500. How's that for mechanical advantage? All right, so smaller force to move a larger force. That's using wheel and axle to increase force. Now, what kind of machines do that? Simple. There you got a screwdriver. That's why they put big, heavy handles on screwdrivers. That's your wheel. There's your axle. Here's another one. Wheel, axle. Nothing to that. Look at this. Here's a C-clamp. There's your axle. Now, a wheel does not have to be a continuous wheel. It has to arc out a wheel. Look at that. See? Not a problem. Okay? Or it could be a complete wheel, like the knobs on this finger clamp. Turn them in. Boom. There you go. Look at that. Or it could be like the knob on our All right, every garage ought to have one of these. Everybody needs a blowtorch. I mean, come on, they're fun at family reunions, stuff like that. There's your knob. Turn that in and out to make the flame bigger. Or you can have something like this. Notice this. That's our scissors jack. Put the handle in there. I'll move some of this debris over there a little bit. If I can turn this, if I can keep it in there. See? Look at the arc I'm going through. I'll take that out so you can see that. See the size of that wheel? You got to crank like crazy to get your car up, but you got all that radius helping you. Okay? That works out really well. Speaking of old car things, look at this. Go ask your grandparents about this. This is an X-wrench. Put that in the lug nuts of your car, and you give this thing a spin after you grunt and heave for a while. Look at the size of the circle that thing arcs out there. Talk about a radius compared to the axle. Amazing, isn't it? Here's another one. We looked at this machine earlier. We looked at this as a screw, threads. There's a tiny screw. And we got this spiral thing here. But it's also a wheel and axle. In order to get this in, you have to turn it. And you're turning it through a circle. So there's your wheel. Let's see that. See, there's your wheel. And there's your axle. Okay. Now, here's another one. This is an antique. We kind of like antiques here. Let's go breast drill. You put it against your chest here like this. There you turn the handle. You can even adjust the size radius on this depending on how much more force you need to get. So if you need more force, make the radius bigger. Okay? That works out really nice. But what if you go the other way? What if you're not trying for force? What if you want to use this to get distance? Like most of the things that use transportation, do this. Well, look at this. If we put the effort into the axle, look what we gain over here on the wheel. Watch this. I'm not going to move very far. Look how far that goes. Look how far your effort moves. Isn't that remarkable? You just invented the fan. Think about it. The motor puts the effort on the shaft. Shaft's connected to the fan. The fan moves the wheel. That's pretty amazing when you think about it. Really amazing. Remember we had you the other day look at motors? Electric motors were made for this, for increasing distance. Shaft, you put a pulley on there, you put a fan on there, you put a belt on there, you put whatever on there, and that's going to increase your distance. There. I have a pretty good look at the two ways that we can use the wheel and axle. Okay, let's go off and look at another simple machine related to the lever. Okay, Bob, put them away. The last member of the lever family, next to the wheel and axle, is the pulley. The pulley is a continuously moving first or second class lever. Well, here we have a fixed pulley, single fixed pulley, and I drew across there a bar. And if you notice, I put a fulcrum right there in the middle because that's where it pivots, right in the middle. Okay? Pivots right there. You put your effort over there and your resistance force is over here. You've got a first class lever. So every fixed pulley is a first class lever. Now, on the other hand, if it is a single movable pulley, then it becomes a second class lever. Now, if you remember, second class lever, the force is in the middle. The resistance force is in the middle and your effort is at the other end. So here's the bar. Picture that as the bar of a lever. Here's your fulcrum. Here's the resistance. And there's your effort. You're pulling up on that. Okay? Isn't that something? Yeah. Now, there's another kind here. It's kind of a hybrid. It's a mix of the two, and you can mix them as many as you want. Some of them get ridiculously large. But this is called a block and tackle. I didn't write it on there. We'll see it sometime. I don't know. Now, here we have, these are fixed ones. These are movable ones, and they work together. The rope starts in the middle, goes around and around and around. It's a lot of fun. Trying to figure out how to put one of these together. It's a hoot, let me tell you. Now, how do you find mechanical advantage of one of these? Well, you can cheat and count the number of supporting strands or ropes. Now you don't count that one because that one just goes up there and changes direction. That's all it does. So it's not, it's just this one over there. That's all it is. So count 1, 2, 3, or you can do the effort distance, how far you move your effort force, divided by the resistance distance, how far does this move. Now, this is fun to look at on a paper, but let's go outside and build a few of these little guys and see what they're like. All right, Bob, let's go set a few of them up. First one we're going to look at is a single fixed pulley. Now, don't worry about the no signs. They're there because there's several 8th grade boys living in my neighborhood, and if I don't put them up there, I'll come out and these things will be trashed because they have great creativity. If you look at this one, 2 ropes, okay, but mechanical advantage is just 1 because let's say I start here, I move down 20, it moves up 20. So 20 divided by 20 is 1, mechanical advantage of 1. So what good is a machine that gives you mechanical advantage of 1? Here's the thing. That pulley makes the rope change direction. So I can do things like this. See? Single pulleys are great for changing direction. Here we go. So here we have the single movable pulley. Okay? This pulley up here doesn't really count. It's just a single fixed pulley, just so it changes direction. It's got 2 ropes supporting the weight, so we should get a mechanical advantage of 2. And if I line this up with the 50 and I don't move, and I go from like here, and I come down 50, you'll notice it goes up 25. See? It goes half the distance, but I get twice the force, so there's a trade-off there. So that's the single movable pulley. Here, Bob and I made 3 block and tackles. These 2 are very similar. This one's slightly different. This is a tandem one, the way the pulleys are arranged. This is a traditional block and tackle. Now, how do you figure out the mechanical advantage of this? Same as all the rest of the tools. How far do I move? How far does the resistance move? So let's do this. I'm going to put this resistance right at 60, okay? And I'm going to come down 60 centimeters. Now look, it went up 10. This gives me a mechanical advantage of 6. It takes 6 times my effort, multiplies it 6 times. You got 6 ropes, okay? Over here, this block and tackle is exactly the same, except that here they're tandem, here they're traditional block and tackle. So we don't need to do that one again. But we will look at this guy. This guy has 8 supporting ropes. We're just thinking, Mr. Knepp, here's another rope over here. Yes, but that one's just going across a single fixed pulley, just like over there, okay? I'm going to raise this up a little bit so you can see the weight that's on here. You can see how good this one is because that's the anchor to our canoe, okay? I'll show you how far we can go with this. Maybe I got to put it down, I don't know. I got to go 80, no. All right, I'm going to put that right at 20. Okay, and I'm going to go down to 20. I go down to 20 and it goes up to 30. I went 80, it went 10. It gives me 8 times my force, but I've got to move 8 times as far. See the ropes moving? Each rope moves at a different speed. There you go, block and tackles. Bob and I set up a quiz for you. First, advertisement. Good fall sport there. This block and tackle, if you notice, has how many supporting ropes? It's got 3. So you should be able to figure out the mechanical advantage. And what do you do with a block and tackle like this that has mechanical advantage of 3 like this? You pull up a Bob and his bowling ball. There you go. There you go. Pulleys. Well, that's enough said about the lever family. Bob and I, on a personal note, well, lever, oh yeah, remember Bob, you got to call them levers because the lever would be wrong. That's physics humor. A little humor. Anyway, on a serious note, this has been pretty stressful for Bob and I. We've been working really hard on these, and I know some of you guys have been working really hard on that end of it too. So make sure you take care of yourself. Make sure you get plenty of exercise, get some sunlight. Above all, keep that light of learning on. Make sure you keep that on. And please, remember, start each day with a balanced breakfast. Okay, that wraps it up for us. See you next time on the next episode of Garage Science.